It's such an honor and a privilege to share the stage with these guys and to be asked to actually be up here and to share a message with you. And I first want to start off with these two words, what if? Now, these are two very powerful words in the English language. You know, what if there's a lot of possibilities? The possibilities are endless with these two words. And when you look at people like Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, Oprah, the Beatles, Michael Jordan, and Walt Disney, you know, when you say what if with these people, you know, when you think about these people and what they have done and the possibilities and the things that they have accomplished in their life, that what if is just amazing. Okay? And one of the biggest reasons is these guys believe in themselves. You know, they believe in the education that they've had. They believe in the training that they've gone through. And a lot of them have had coaches, mentors, or been part of masterminds that really help them in tough times, that really help them overcome any challenges. And a lot of them were not afraid to fail. And a lot of them actually did fail. However, it was those failures that made them very successful today. And the road to success is definitely paved with failures. You know, everyone knows the story about Thomas Edison. He failed 10,000 times before he found the one way for the light bulb to work. So he just kept persevering. And my goal for you guys today, in the audience as well as watching live, is that I inspire you, is that I motivate you, and you walk away thinking, if this guy can do it, anybody can do it. So, however, in most cases, the what if is always followed by negative thoughts. And that is what prevents a lot of people from succeeding, a lot of people from having success. You know, the industry or the space that I'm in, the real estate investing, it's very common. And it's common in a lot of these info marketing solutions as well. That what if is followed by negative thoughts. And that prevents a lot of people from being successful. So these two words have prevented more people from being successful than any other two words in the English language. So what if no one shows up to my webcast? What if people don't like me? What if I look like an idiot? And what if I look nervous? And really, what if it doesn't work? Those are the thoughts that go through a lot of people's minds. But you might also think, what if I don't look like a model? You know, how am I going to do a webcast? I don't look like a model. Or I might think I'm too fat. You know, that camera adds an extra 10 pounds, so, you know, I don't think I can do it. And what if I don't have a perfect smile? You know, my teeth aren't white, they aren't straight, so these things come into everybody's mind when they think about doing webcasting. And what if I'm an introvert? So this slide actually explains me. So this is me. I could have had all of these what-if thoughts. However, I choose not to. I choose to have positive thoughts. I choose not to let these what-ifs prevent me from being successful. Because let's face it, I don't look like this anymore. So I know that's not Photoshop, that's actually me. So unfortunately, I replaced the six-pack with a keg. And anyone that was out last night probably saw the reason why it's a keg now. So my name is John McCabe. I'm originally from a small town called Windsor, Nova Scotia. I'm the middle of three boys. You know, we're in a middle-class family. Every summer I played baseball. Every winter I played hockey. The picture on the right, I'm with my two brothers on the same team. We're at the World Fast Pitch Championship. You know, I was always active in sports. And when you're active in sports, there's lots of failures. There's lots of times when, you know, you're at the plate, it's the bottom of the last inning, the game is tied, there's a runner on base, and you're the one that can win the game or lose the game. And more times than not, I did not get that hit. But that never stopped me from continuing on and playing the next game. So I went to university in Nova Scotia. I never did finish my business degree. I was probably about 2 credits short. I went into the corporate world, and the corporate world just wasn't a good fit for me, so I ventured off onto my own, and I became a business consultant. And I helped grow a business from $1.5 million to $7 million in about 4.5 years. And then I ventured out onto my own into the real estate investing space. And I've built a company called After Solutions Real Estate. We've expanded right across the country. I'm a 2-time #1 best-selling author of The Rent-to-Own Revolution, as well as the Infinite Real Estate ROI book. Thanks. And I've used my education and my ability to work on my marketing to overcome my introvertedness, to help me attract individuals to my space. So there was a specific reason why these guys asked me to speak today. And it's something that I have in common with Oprah, with Michael Jordan, with Steve Jobs, with the Beatles. And that is, we're all massive failures at one time. We've all failed. But then we took from those failures and we actually learned from them and we became successful. So that's what the story of my first webcast. It was a massive failure. And there's 3 reasons I attribute to the failure. The first one is I didn't kick everybody off the internet in the house. So the stream was just frozen constantly, and people were chatting, and it's like they just couldn't see anything. So after a half an hour of that, I just decided to shut the webcast down. And the second reason is I failed to run a test on all the technology. So I'm a shoot then aim person. I just do it and then suffer the consequences. So my failure to run a test definitely did not help my situation, and it really was one of the causes of my failures. And the third one is I failed to do a run-through on the webcast at all. So those are the 3 biggest things that I attribute to the massive failure of my webcast. And it's what does that do for my brand? What does that do for me? How do I feel now? I'm distraught. All the people, there was 80-some people that were actually on the webcast. What do they think of me now? How am I perceived? A lot of these people I didn't actually know, so they were leads from some other people. So now, what's their perception of me? But every failure is one step closer to success. So just because I failed does not stop me from moving forward, did not stop me from doing the next webcast. Actually, this was a huge blessing in disguise because it gave me more time to prepare my next webcast. It gave me more time to make it even better, to work on my slides, to work on my presentation, to test all the tech. And I bounced back reluctantly. Again, was my credibility damaged? Who was going to show up? What was going to happen? So when I planned the second webcast, I had about half the people show up that I had on the first webcast. So instead of 80, I was down to about 40, with 30 on there on a regular basis. And it was a 5-hour webcast. So, and I was doing everything myself. I was doing the Wirecast, and I had bottom thirds, I had expert videos that come in, I had a presentation, and I was trying to do everything all at the same time. I wanted it to be the level of Mike and Ed's webcast. That's what I wanted it to be. It wasn't quite to that level, and it didn't go, it wasn't seamless by any means, but at the end of the day, I ended up making $43,000 in 5 hours, selling my services to real estate investors. Thank you. And there's really 7 reasons I attribute to the success. The first one is I tested, and tested. In coaching with Ed, prior to doing this, That's the one thing that he drilled into my head, is you need to test, test, and test. Don't rely on you think it's going to work. The second one is I really educated my audience. I took it from a perspective that I wanted to educate them, not just to sell them, but I wanted to truly educate them in what it is, the solution that I was offering, how they could actually go out and do it themselves. The next one is I answered the objections with product bonuses. So any objection I could think of that my ideal target market could come up with, I made sure I had a bonus that answered those objections. So so they don't have a reason not to buy. And then I ensured that there were success stories. And I'm sure all of you it's probably in the bonuses of the toolkit, but it's Mike's perfect testimonial. So I prepped my success stories, and I got them to do some perfect testimonials for me. It's stories of transformation, what their life was like before they met me, how I enabled them or helped them to be successful, and what their life is like now. So I had videos of these testimonials, people telling their stories. And I had an irresistible offer, and I justified the price. Because you do not want the objection to be price, so I justified it. When you're selling a $25,000 solution online, you really have to have a good price justification. And for me, my price justification is you close one deal, that's worth $80,000 to you. So it's pretty easy to justify the price. And I followed the step-by-step program that's taught in the Webcast Profit Toolkit. Mike and Ed have made the system so step-by-step simple that even an introvert can do it. And the very last one, I have to attribute a lot of my success to the coaching of Mike and Ed and being involved in the mastermind. Because without their guidance, without their help, it made it all possible, and it enabled me to make that kind of money in that short of time. And I would not have failed massively, bounced back reluctantly, and I would have not succeeded triumphantly. So what if your webcast fails? I can tell you right now, the world's not going to stop. The world doesn't end. You're still going to wake up the next day. And I believe if your webcast fails, you are a true entrepreneur. Because success that comes easy is not as valuable as success after you have had failure. And I believe that you've actually taken the action. You're a true entrepreneur. You've taken the action. You've failed, but you're going to persevere, you're going to move through, and you're going to do it again. Because the next time could be the time for you. But what if it works? Ask yourself that question. What would your life be like then? How would that make you feel? What would it mean to you and your family? Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Stay here.
Good job.
Here.
It's done. Great job. Let's do that. Look at you.
The man right there.
Congratulations. Huh? Wow. Drink it up, buddy. You earned it. You earned it. Yeah.
So this, first of all, great job.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a point that I think is extremely important to make. At some point, so we all start out as people, then we become marketers, and then we become people again, okay? And so at some point in an average marketer's life, they get to the point where you're like, so what are you doing this weekend? Well, on Sunday, what I'm going to do are these 5 things that are going to totally and completely transform your life, and for the low price of just $97 you can, and you're like, whoa, wait a second. So that's not the way people talk. And one of the things I love about John is when John speaks, he's John, right? Did you catch that? While he was speaking, you're like, this is the, like, I guarantee you, if you were at the bar with us last night, you would have talked to the very same John McCabe that you just saw present before you. And as a presenter and speaker and webcaster, that's critically important. So yes, we do love John, don't we?
Thanks, Winnie.
So go from person, skip marketer, go back to person with understanding of how to market. You with me on that? You were awesome, by the way.
Thanks,
so thank
man.
you. One more round of applause for Mr. John McCabe. Good job.